Death is the one story every life shares, but the conversations around it rarely happen. Welcome to the show that opens the doors to the funeral profession. The people, the stories, and the truths most never hear. This is As the Hearse Turns.
Hey, everybody, good evening. It is Chris, and it is Thursday, and we are back for another live episode here on As the Hearse Turns. Unfortunately, this evening, Catherine will not be joining me. Unfortunately, those that follow the funeral home Facebook page probably noticed Nate's grandmother passed away 2 days ago, and they are preparing for that service tomorrow. And then into the weekend, they are also um, just getting ready for the ribbon cuttings and open houses and all the different things for the public. So Catherine just unfortunately could not be with us tonight. However, I am super excited to have an amazing funeral director, an awesome leader, Mr. Carlton May. He is a funeral director from like Middle Georgia area, licensed in multiple states, and he is also a candidate for the NFDA secretary's position. So let me go ahead and we're going to bring Carlton in here. How are you, sir?
Hello, Chris. I'm well. How are you?
I am blessed, my friend. I am blessed.
Same here. Same here.
I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time to, spend the evening with us and talk. And I love talking about funeral service. I really do.
Oh, yes. It is definitely a joy. And thank you for having me. I do not take it lightly. The privilege to be asked to come and chat with you. Love you dearly. And Catherine both. And definitely give her my love during this time of her, trying to take care of family. And I do definitely understand that. We have to do it.
Absolutely.
So.
So now you're located in Middle Georgia?
Yes. So I'm located in kind of like the Middle Georgia area.
Okay.
The funeral home is located in Dublin, Georgia. It is Serenity Funeral Home and Cremation Services of Dublin. And so that's, our main location there. We have a chapel up in Wilkinson County, which is called Wilkinson County Memorial Chapel as well underneath. So those are our locations, which is about 20 minutes from us.
Okay. And other than Georgia, where else are you licensed to practice at there?
So I'm licensed in the state of Alabama and South Carolina.
Okay. And is that just because it's like bordering states for you?
So yes, it kind of work because we sit like in a triangle, to be honest with you. And in our area, we service a lot of veteran clients. We have a military base that sits in Warner Robins, Georgia. We have the VA hospital that sits right in Dublin, Georgia. And there are many times when we're servicing families, we've been requested to either take mom or dad back to the resting place of a neighboring city that is, have a military base like in South Carolina or a town in Alabama that they want to be, at that national cemetery or, so forth, where they served the longest and they have just retired, here. And so we kept, having to
outsource,
outsource those. And so that became like, hey, why not we just look and see about receiving those licenses? So we reciprocated over, and it has worked out diligently for us. Where I had a family, she was just amazed. She told me, she said, I want to take mom back to be with dad in Alabama. I want to, have mom with dad at the National Center. That's where dad wanted to be. Mom said she wants to go back. And I said, okay, that's fine. She said, but listen, I don't want to deal with any other funeral home. I said, well, what make you think you have to deal with a funeral home? And she said, well, in my knowledge, I understand that you have to coordinated with another funeral home, in that state, which was Alabama in her case, in that state for a licensure. And so she was very knowledgeable of it. And I said,
Good.
well, I'm going to be honest with you. I said, I'm impressed that you even, know these things. I said, but I'm going to flip it back on you. I said, you will not have to deal with any other funeral home. I said, I will take mom back and we'll have her. She said, so how are you going to do that? So I said, I'm licensed in Alabama as well. So she just like, oh my goodness, her eyes got big, right?
Level of comfort.
Yeah.
And that's amazing that they took the time to educate themselves on
Hmm.
what should legally be done. Because you see a lot of people that
Yes.
really
Yeah.
don't see those things or have that, and then next thing you know, you tell
Hmm.
them that, well, we have to do this. They're like, oh my
Right.
goodness, it's all this stuff. When really, it's very easy for us because then again,
Right.
we'll talk about it, but networking and making friends throughout
Hmm.
like the NFDA, where
Hmm.
if I
Hmm.
have somebody that passes away in Middle Georgia, guess what? I can pick
Hmm.
up the phone, call your cell phone. Hey,
Correct.
Carl, I need your help.
Right. Right.
And you have
Exactly.
that network, you have that trust and that rapport built with that other funeral director, and you
Exactly.
know that loved one's going to be cared for with the utmost respect.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, what got you? What drew you, or what was your calling into funeral service?
Well, I will be honest with you. I'm gonna keep it short. Than what
Okay.
it's a longer story. Actually, me and my father, he joked with me about it not too long ago. We were talking about the cat. He was like, "Oh yeah, you and that cat." But I really do not know, and I'll tell you what the pastor described it to my grandmother. Um, I just remember at a young age, my uncle passed away, and it was my aunt's husband, and everybody went to the funeral, and I did not, attend the services. And I stayed with a neighbor, and her name was Miss Anthony, and she was baking sweet potato pies for the repast when they come back from the service, and I was with her, and I asked her, I said, Miss Anthony, what is a service? What is a funeral? What is it about? And she kind of described it to me. She said, it's like a church service. Everyone gather, the preacher. She says, just like Sunday morning. She says, everyone come together, but they come to show respect to the family. And I said, really? And she said, yes. And she said, the person that has passed on, she said, they're in a casket. And I said, what is a casket? I had no idea. She said, well, I can almost tell you like this. She said, a casket is almost like a shoebox. And I said,
Okay.
okay. All right. So that just stuck out with me. A shoebox, and they're placed in the shoebox, and and that's going to be there resting. And she said the shoebox is almost like a bed inside. In my head, as this young man, I'm thinking back, and I'm like, okay, just picturing this in my head. Had never gone to a funeral, mind
Okay.
you, had never been, and just so happened my cousin Sharon had a cat, and the cat got killed. And she came to my grandmother crying, and everything happened. And my grandmother said, oh my goodness, we're going to need. And she gave me instructions of what to do to go, help get the cat, so forth. Well, in the midst of all this, my mind went back to Miss Anthony and the story that she
Okay.
provided to me. And so I went and got in a shoebox, an old shoebox that I had. I took the cat, put the cat in the shoebox, and we went to the backyard, and I gathered all my cousins, and we had a funeral. We had church service in the back. So that was my first service. Had never
You're
gone
not
to a
telling me you
funeral.
were practicing without a license then, are you?
Practicing without a license, definitely. and, and it was just, I mean, it was just so real. My grandmother, you know, she talked. She was like, "Whoa, what is wrong with this young man? Why are you talking about funerals?" My great aunts still talk about it to this day. Like, oh, we had to hear about a funeral as a child. You were a child, we had to hear about a funeral, and lo and behold, my grandmother, the pastor, explained it that some people are born with a calling,
Mhm.
and some people acquire a calling later in life. They find it, they don't know what it is, and they have to find their way. And it's almost like a minister that's a child minister that, what child wakes up and says, I want to be a preacher. I want to be a, minister. they're born with that calling. And so truly I took it from there that I was born with the calling, and introduced me to the funeral home. The local funeral home gave me a chance to ride along in the hearse with them.
Okay.
I did that, went by the funeral home. I mean, it was just, I never could let it go. And that's really how I got into it, and been there ever since.
So at funeral service, your was your profession all the way through, or were there things you did prior to going to mortuary school?
So when I have a pathway with it. I love funeral service and went through, but my preceptor, his name is Mr. William Meadows. I went through mortuary school, and he told me, he said, "Son, let me tell you," he said, "I want you to gain as much as you can gain." He said, "Do not just limit yourself at funeral service." He said, "I know you want to be a great funeral." I served my apprenticeship under him and his son Corey. He said, "I know that that's what you wanted." He said, "But I encourage you," he said, "to do like I did." He said, "I went to school. I received more education, more knowledge, uh, and I was able to bring it back to my funeral home." And I said,
Okay.
"Hmm." And he retired as a lead homicide detective, and ran his funeral home at the same time, which was like,
Really?
yeah, he told the story about how he would get off from work for being a lead homicide detective overnight, take a nap in the car, and open up the funeral home in the morning, ready to serve families. It was, at that time, it was just he and his wife, and, having a young family and so forth. But he was working both. And he said, "Hey, he said, I'm going to be honest with you." He said, "I gained a pension from the city of Atlanta." And still, I served families. He said, "Service, it doesn't matter what capacity, as long as you're serving." He
I
said,
love that.
"Yeah, as long as you're serving." And I thought about it. I was like, what am I gonna do? The traditional path. And so I went to school, and turned around and went to school, and obtained my bachelor's.
Okay.
Um, Business has always been a great forefront for me too,
Mhm.
as well. I love business. I grew up in a family who were small business owners. Um, my grandmother owned the local grocery store in our small town of Americus, Georgia. Uh, my grandfather, both of my grandfathers they worked like a traditional job, but they had their side jobs as entrepreneurs on the side, doing various of things. And so I'm like, hmm. So I took up business administration, and lo and behold, I was working at the funeral home. Went to mortuary school, working at the funeral home, and I had a job at Publix. And before Publix was Winn Dixie Company. I don't know if you ever
Okay.
heard of any of those
Grocery
chains.
store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was working at the grocery store, became a cash vault auditor with Publix, and front end manager, front training manager, and still working at the funeral home. And that how it. And one day, this lady walked in and was having an issue at Publix, and she said, "You know what? I want to hire you, young man." And I said, "Okay, what do you do?" She said, "I work in the banking. I work in banking. You'll make a great banker." And she said, "Your personality and so forth." I was like, I don't know. So I literally I took her up on the offer, had an interview, and went into banking, and stayed right there with banking, and still worked at the funeral home.
Okay.
It was like, I like the best of both worlds. My utilizing my degree from business administration, and I did a customized concentration. It was in human resources and finance, and so went back and got my master's, and I got an MBA, and that was in information systems management with the focal point. And I was like, the journey was going. Spent 10 years in banking. Spent
Okay.
spent 10 years in banking. And even after I left banking, same thing again. I was asked, "Hey, send me your resume." I said, "Okay, I'm gonna send you my resume." Had no idea, and the journey was good. Sent the resume. I remember being in a lemon vineyard, a lemon in Greece. Received this crazy email that was encrypted and all this other stuff. I was like, what is this? I was scared of the email, to be honest with
I'm not
you.
clicking this.
Yeah, and lo and behold, glad I had international call. I received a call, and this guy with his stern voice and everything said, "Hey, I need you to look at this. I need you to sign it. This is temporary coming up," and ended up with the United States government, with the Department of Defense. So it's like,
Okay.
whoa! And the journey just continued. And funeral service has always been right there, tailored
Side by side.
side by side, no matter what. And so now, even going into teaching mortuary science, I never same thing. I was at a convention, and we talked about convention,
Mhm.
and so I'm at a convention, and I remember the president of the college at this time. She was there, and she said, "Carlton, I need help." And I said, "Okay, what type of help do you need?" She said, "I know you have taught adjunct, taught classes because I taught, business ethics at a local college." And she was like, "I know you've taught us. I need you to teach some mortuary science courses." And she said, "I need to talk to you about it." I was like, "Okay." She said, "Send me your resume. We'll talk." And it went from there. It was like, so
And the rest is history.
the rest is history. It's just been going on and on. So I really do. Um,
Let's see here real quick. So we got a couple comments. Let's see,
yeah.
Mr. Torrey Carlton, top notch guy.
Okay. Sorry,
Uh,
Chief Sumlin.
Mr. Mitchell, good evening, Mr. Chris and Mr. May.
Good evening.
Let's see, we've got Miss Amina.
Yeah. Miss Callan. Good evening.
So, and then, do you service anywhere near Mobile, or is that too far for you?
Woo! Yes, that is a bit far, Miss Hunt. Mobile. I actually was in Mobile not too long ago. I did a professional development class in Mobile for CJ Smalls
Okay.
funeral home there. For him, I was honored to be asked, to be recommended to him, and to ask. And so I traveled to Mobile to do that class.
So now, with teacher, professor, current at-large representative for anything,
Yes, so current at-large representative to the board.
business owner, funeral director, embalmer,
Yes.
and whatever other hats that you want to put on there. How do you, and what would your advice be for someone either in the funeral profession, mortuary school, or even outside, with balancing all these professional roles inside and just in life in general? How do you do it?
So everyone asks me that question, Chris. And it's crazy that you asked it as well. But no, seriously, how I balance it all is that I love what I do. And so when you have that love and you have that passion, you carve out your time wisely. Um, and when you carve that time out wisely, I'm not chasing anything. I'm not looking for, how my professor would always say, everyone is trying to chase that niche, or that one goal, almost like a squirrel trying
Right.
to hunt and say, "Hey, I need to get this from family." I'm not chasing, I am serving. And Mr. Meadows just, he said it to me. He said, "As long as you're serving and you're happy serving and you love serving, it's not a burdensome to me." It is really, I find that time, but now I do take time for myself as well, because you have to have that time to rejuvenate. You have to have that time to, have yourself together. But I literally have a schedule set out. I'm teaching on this number of days. There's number of set days. I'm at the funeral home. I'm doing this, And the great picture about my schedule, even with the funeral home, is, my best friend, Dr. Kendrick Mack. He is an entrepreneur as well, but we balance each other out. We balance each other out.
If that's you have to have that partner. You got to have your yin to your yang. You
Yes,
really do.
and we're definitely that. But we have that balance where we're able to balance, and not even that. We have a great team that is very, very well balanced. Like, for instance, we have people that's there that say, hey, I'm going to be out of town during this time. I'm going to be set, and our schedule is public to each other. And even when we need that personal time, that we're going to be, and it's respected. It's respected. And that's literally how I could not do it without the passion, first of all, behind it, and the willingness to it. And I could not do it with great people that I've surrounded myself around, and
Your team.
the team. I mean, it's
family, team.
Oh my gosh. I have the most supportive team and the most supportive family, I will say, where it comes full circle back around, where it's like, what can I do to help you? And vice versa, because it's not all about me. It's about, I'm the same way. What is it that I can do to support you? What can I do to help you out?
And that's Catherine. She just threw us in a comment. She said, "Hey, Chris and Carlton, sorry to miss tonight. I'll be watching and listening."
Oh no,
we totally understand, Catherine.
Yes, we understand, and our much love and prayers. And we're gonna miss you, Catherine. But I know I'll see you soon.
Yeah, you guys should be fall. You guys, I'm sure she'll be down at the convention and stuff like that. But Charlotte this year, right?
Yes, Charlotte. Yeah, we're going to the big city of Charlotte, North Carolina.
So you had mentioned about the team that you have at the funeral home. Now you are farther south, and now do you have female funeral directors or female attendants that actually work services, and how are they received?
So
is it a mix or?
So it's a mix
Okay.
now. It's a mix. Yes, we do have a female funeral director, students, attendants. What we really call all of our funeral attendants. Now we moved away from that, and we changed. We revamped the end of last year, and they're funeral ambassadors. Yeah, they're ambassadors.
I like that.
Yes, for us, because that's what they really are. And they're there to help assist in any way. They're one of our ambassadors. She's gone to school, and she's finishing up in court, and you could not tell that she's not an owner or a partner of ours, because she treats it just like it's hers. Oh my God, I'm talking about OCD.
It's like her name is on this service.
Her name is
professionalism,
and she take ownership of it. I mean,
yes,
and it is very, very rare. And let me just go ahead and tell you that it is very, very rare that you see that. But oh my God, when I tell you, our team is not huge. We're not big, but when I tell you we have dedication, we have dedicated. Oh my gosh, from start to finish, everyone is pitching in to see what is it that can. Sometimes I'm running around, and I'm more of the person that they call me the more of the strict. I'm the daddy type deal.
okay.
They call Dr. Mack the more of the hyper, and he's all over the place. And it's like, okay, it's night and day between you guys. Yes, we're yin and yang, but we're loved. And sometimes I'm looking for something. I'm like, oh, I need to go over here. I need to do this. And I turn around and I'm like, okay. For instance, I'll say, Monica, did you see, or did we have this document? She said, check your folder.
It's already there.
It's already there. And it's funny, it's service day. It's hey, Whitley, our administrative assistant. Oh my God, all the families love her. We don't know what we're gonna do. Every last one of the families love her. Whitley is like, she is. We know when we're in trouble if she'll say, "Hey, Carlton," but if she say, "Mr. May," that means that she's like, "I need my document." She has a system. It's outlined.
You got
And
processes, you've got
yes,
procedures, you've
we
got things
have.
in place.
Yes, we have them in place. And now there's maybe been one time I can count, maybe one time that she was busy though, and she had a lot going on. I was able to say, "Okay, Miss Whitley," I said, "I need my document." She was like, You will never be
Uh-huh.
able to do that again."
Exactly. Enjoy it. You use the card,
Yes,
enjoy it.
hey,
Yeah.
enjoy it. You better stick with it.
Now, here's a question I have for you as an owner.
Mhm.
I'm not an owner. I manage a location for Catherine and Nate.
Yeah, yeah.
But one of the things is I operate it and I care for it as if it were my business.
Mhm,
And now you as an owner with the staff and with NFDA and stuff like you travel extensively. Now you do have your partner, but
mhm,
do you feel that if you had to bring in a licensee to cover for you and your partner, that
mhm,
your funeral home could run 100% without
mhm,
hesitation
mhm,
because of the relationship and the bond that you have and the
mhm.
trust you have in your team?
Oh, yes. I mean,
Yeah.
most definitely. We both attend convention every year. Like this
Oh, okay.
last year, we both we were at convention in Chicago. And matter of fact, before I left, there was a family that I, knew and diehearted. I had to be there before I left for convention. I made sure that that family was taken care of before I left.
Yeah.
And when he left, there was another family that came in, but we we knew, hey, they wanted a full service. They wanted a full service from start to finish. We were in Chicago, but we had a trusted embalmer that, hey, take care of the decedent just like we were there.
Mhm.
Miss Whitley, our administrative assistant. If there's another funeral director, if they have to come in, to be honest with you, literally, they're
They're
just
just
there.
making it legal.
They're just there. Thank you.
They're
They're just
making it
there.
legal. Yeah. Your
To
funeral, your staff, your team, your family, they know exactly what they do. You have somebody with a license just making it legal.
making it.
Absolutely.
Miss Brenda, she is our administrative assistant up in the Wilkinson County Chapel. Oh my God, Miss Brenda, the same thing. I mean, literally, you don't even have to do anything with Miss Brenda. Miss Brenda it's like, okay, Miss Brenda, have we secured this, this, and this, and this? It's like she's like, yes, yes, sir, Mr. Carlton. It's yes, sir, yes, sir. We have this, we have that. And that duo team, her husband is our lead ambassador and he, handles, I mean, literally whatever you needing, he's right there with her, serving along side by side. You would literally think that that's their funeral home.
I really like the funeral ambassador, or I might even like I'm even thinking like family ambassador. You know what I
Mhm,
mean?
mhm,
I like that. Assistant associate or something. Yeah, I think that's a new rebranding type of situation. I'm gonna have to
mhm.
steal that one from you, my man.
Hey, listen, we saw it. I forgot where we saw it. But we saw it. We were how because, like I said, we watch you guys. We love you
Mhm.
guys. You and there think trust me, there are some things now that will be stolen, but it's not about stealing. And I know you're joking. We're just
Yes,
talking,
yes.
but from that standpoint, it's not about, hey, you're doing it this way. You have your own brand and
Mhm.
you have your own tailoring to it. But there's something that I probably do or say that you're like, okay, I'm gonna implement that into mine.
Yeah.
Vice versa.
Well,
I'm
you
gonna
know,
implement it.
and this is what I preach this all the time. That day that you stop learning,
Oh
you
God.
need to just hang it up. When you
Just
believe you know it all, just
just
here's
go.
my license.
Just go.
I'm done. I'm
just
done.
just go just go in and and that's why I think a lot of my students, when they're coming along and they're getting to know me, a lot of my students, they'll say, Professor, is there not one organization you don't belong to? I'm like, how do you do it? And I said, now listen, I probably cannot make it to every last one of them. I said, but there's things that go on throughout the year that I'm a part of that I
Yeah.
can dot my head in, to see, from the local associations. Here in Georgia, we have three associations. Okay. just and a lot of people ask me, Georgia has three? Yes. I'm a member of all three.
Mhm.
Um,
And
and
each
at,
one probably brings something different to the
thank,
table, different
thank you.
composition of membership or missions or goals or visions.
That type of balance. I mean, it's there, and it's like, wow. It's just like, Cana and ICCFA.
Mhm.
Their focus is around the same, but I learned something different, and the directions is totally different from just going to one, like NFDA versus NFDMA.
Yes.
There is total different focuses, and there are sometimes you're looking at the roster and you're like, I really want to take that class. So I'm going to go,
Yeah.
for this, and I'm going to learn that. Or, oh, there we go. And so, therefore, when you say, if you think we know it all and we have gotten to that book, yes, it's time to hang it up, because there's just like now in today's time. And I can't hone this home so much. Being in funeral service is not cookie cutter anymore.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm done. I'm preach.
Okay, I mean, it's not cookie cutter anymore. I had this conversation literally today at Gupton Jones College. That's where I teach,
Mhm.
primary for Pierce Mortuary College. We literally just had graduation rehearsal today, and I had the opportunity to speak with some students that are distant learning that I have not had a chance to just see physically. They're there at graduation, and we were talking. There were two students. We were talking about, Carlton, how do you break those barriers with families? It seemed like that you just break the barriers and you go. Well, simple one is this. There are so many options out now.
Yes.
And when I say options of ways to celebrate your loved one, and the disposition options are currently increasing.
Yes.
Okay. So if we just stop at burial and cremation, you might as well just be like, okay, I'm going to look at my overall clientele and margin to just go.
You're shooting yourself in the foot. You're setting yourself up for failure.
You're setting yourself up for failure, and it's over with. Listen, no matter what your personal beliefs are, your spiritual beliefs are, whatever, if you're in a network of servicing,
Mhm.
you have to be open to service.
You know, and can I just say this, that we are here to provide a service. We all have a
Mhm,
heart of service,
mhm.
but we are a business.
We are a business.
And if you can serve all day long and twice on Sunday, but you've got to make sure, if I don't know if you and your business partner own your business outright or whatnot, every whatever first of the month, the bank man's knocking at the door.
Mhm,
It is a business.
mhm,
And you can run a business ethically and morally,
mhm,
but we are here to provide a service
mhm,
for compensation.
mhm,
And I think a
mhm,
lot of people, I don't know where whether it's just not taught, or
mhm,
they're not receptive to it, or they're
mhm,
afraid to have that conversation with
mhm,
families, because you
mhm,
can plan the most elaborate funeral ever. You could put somebody in a Parthenon casket, or whatever, but
mhm.
at the end of that conversation, it's how are we going to settle this contract? And
Exactly.
most people don't want to have that conversation, and
Exactly.
that's where the business starts to fail.
Yes. And that's so, and let me tell you, I mean, this is going, I don't know if you said it, just, I didn't even realize when I accepted your invitation that it was graduation rehearsal day because we had graduation tomorrow. But that is so true because the young lady I was speaking with and we were talking about it, and she was saying, hey, I buried my mom. And she said the funeral home basically told me what was going to happen. The funeral home told me what was going to be, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. And I looked and she said, that didn't set well with me.
Absolutely.
And I said, well, did you go along with it? And she said, yeah, I did, because that's just the funeral home we always use, and that's it. And she said, what made her upset was he kept saying, yeah, I know your mom. I've been knowing your mom for years. And so I know this is what your mom would want. I know that this is what, but that's not technically true. Just because you're in the community and the family does not mean that, hey, you get to make that decision.
Right.
And I told her one of the things, the question that she asked, she said, well, how do you do it? I said, well, one of the things that I do is when I sit down with the family, one of the first things that I'm ensuring them is that, and I'd say it kind of with a sarcastic joking to kind of just break the ice because they're in an uncomfortable situation. And I said, hey, I'm Carlton and I'm your funeral director and I'm here to service you.
Mm-hmm.
I said, but I want you to know something. You are the boss. And I leave it at that. And when I say that, they kind of look at me.
You break down those barriers.
You bring it and they're like, what do you mean? I say, listen. And most of the time it follows up with, what do you mean, Carlton? I said, well, you tell me, how is it that you would like to celebrate your dear loved one?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I'm going to recap it with you. You just talk to me. I'm not sitting here looking, because most of the time, 9 times out of 10, I can get all the information I need for vital statistics by opening up that open question. Mm-hmm. Oh, well, you know what? Dad was born in XYZ. I'm listening and I'm jotting notes and I put my pen down. Whenever I need something significant, I jot it, put my pen down, and I'm listening and attentive to it. And if I miss something along the way that I need for statistic or data, I turn right back around and say, so I know you told me Dad was born in this. So your grandmother and your grandfather, what is your grandmother's maiden? What was my grandmother was the sweetest little lady. She was Miss, whatever. Yep. And it goes from there. And then I recap and I say, okay, so now you have shared me a lot about, and so I want to recap. This is what you're looking for to celebrate your loved one. And I go back over it with them and they're like, yeah, that's what I want. And I say, well, I'm here to make it happen. And like I told you in the beginning, I'm your funeral director. As long as it's legal, we're going to do it. And they normally kind of laugh and chuckle it off.
As long as it's legal, moral, and ethical, we can do it.
I said,
and I am not here to tell you no.
Hey, let's go. And even if, and this is the thing that I stress even in staff meeting, no should not come out of our mouths.
Yes, thank you.
No should not come out of our mouth. Okay? If we don't know, we should say, you know what? That is a great question. That is a great inquiry. I tell you what, I'm going to circle back with you. Let me do a little research and see and go from there. And I promise you, I have an answer for you and a solution. It's done. But no should not come out of our mouth, because what do we learn in 2020?
Oh, yeah. We're still recovering from it.
We learned everything that we were taught to tell families no to. We turned around and had to say yes
to everything.
Everything. Can we live stream? No, can't do that. Okay. Can you live stream? No, we don't offer that service. Can we make arrangements and e-doc sign?
Yep.
No, we can't do it. We need you to come into the funeral home. I've heard colleagues say that. No, you must come into the funeral home. Can I select a casket virtually? No, I have a showroom that's full of it. Now we have virtual showrooms that we're showing all over, throughout. It's being earns. Hey, I have this, and I just don't know how we can get the no out of our head and just say, you know what? I will do my best. Even if I can't
You
make
know,
it to that capacity. I'm sorry, Chris.
no,
I will still go and see what I can do.
a big part, and I don't know if it's with curriculum, and you know
Mhm.
what? I can't blame school because
No.
school, all the mortuary school, the
Mhm.
goal is to prepare you to pass the national board exam
Mhm.
and to show the entry level competencies of
Mhm.
being able to practice mortuary science
Mhm.
or funeral directing.
Mhm.
You know where the ball gets dropped? The apprenticeships.
Oh, yes.
They're quickly trying to pencil whip, push people through just so you can hurry up and get someone licensed, so you can take a break and take a respite. But all you're doing is
Burnout.
you're you're burning out the apprentices or
Mhm.
the interns.
Mhm.
You're turning around and devaluing the
Mhm.
profession, and
Thank
we're
you.
running excellent individuals out the door
Mhm.
because we don't want to take time and invest because
Mhm.
we look at it as if I gotta. I believe the problem that we see is that owners sometimes see, and it's not all, don't get me wrong, but a
Exactly.
good majority
Mhm.
see a mortuary that you come out of school, you got your license, they should be
Mhm.
able to give you the keys to the funeral home and walk away for 6 months and recover and not have to worry about a thing. And guess what? This person doesn't know, a debit from a credit because they just, they everything on the accounting test was C and you happen to pass. So it's really important that we have to invest
Mhm.
in our baby undertakers. We
Mhm.
have to allow them and afford them the opportunity to go to national conventions, to go to local
Mhm.
conventions, to
Mhm.
attend those seminars. Just
Mhm.
because the people think, oh, it's just a networking and it's a place for people to go to party. Yeah,
Mhm.
you get to have fun. Don't get me wrong, but
Right.
you learn so much.
So much.
I've made connections, when NFDA was in Baltimore, I was able to attend because I was working in Baltimore at the time,
Okay. Okay.
and I met Georgianne Bender
Okay.
from Kaiser& and Bender. They
Mhm.
they normally speak at every NFDA convention, and her and I have become best friends, and I've
Mhm.
learned so much from her, and she and her partner are all about retail
Mhm.
and it's about the customer service experience. And you know what? We should be providing an impeccable experience to the families we serve. If
Mhm.
you walk past somebody and you're within 2 to 3 feet, you should acknowledge that person. It's having
Exactly.
those conversations. And
Exactly.
and people say, well, we never that's not how we've always done it. And we've always done it this way, and we're still being fine.
Well, this is the thing, like you were stating, starting there, I remember when I told you Mr. Meadows would come to the funeral home. He would talk about how he spent the night in this car, wake
Mhm.
up in the morning, get it. Well, excuse me. So I would see him though on the morning when I was serving my apprenticeship. I would see him every morning, and of course he wasn't sleeping in the car then. But he would come to the funeral home, park his car, and he would walk the perimeter of the funeral home
Yes.
every morning. And I would look, and this was in the beginning. I'm like, what is he doing? And by the time he's done, he'd come back to the back side door where the dumpster was, and he would say, "Carlton," he said, "I need to see you." And I said, "Yes, sir." And I'd go over. He would have a bucket.
Mhm.
And he had an old makeshift that had nails at the end that he would go through and pick up trash and different
Yep.
debris. So he said, "Do you need glasses, son?" And I said, "No, sir." He said, "How are we going to serve families and show that we're clean, we're here operable, we're welcoming you, if this is what I'm finding and you've been here an hour?" because my thought process was get to the funeral home, let me go in, let me vacuum, let me make sure that it is fresh inside, let me make sure the entryway is swept, the rugs are clean, all that. But I never walked the perimeter.
Yep. It's funny you say so. Before I even went to mortuary school, I would just wash cars and
Mhm,
just work services, run flowers, things like that.
mhm,
And one of the things was when I first got to the funeral home, I started noticing the owner do the same thing. He would walk the perimeter. He had a little
mhm,
bucket and, get all the cigarette butts out of the ashtray. And,
mhm,
they would want to put, they had a stamp where they would put the initial of the funeral home into the ashtray type thing.
mhm,
But one of the biggest things is he'd walk through the garage and he'd check the
mhm,
laundry and open up, and there
mhm.
better not be any dried laundry in that dryer. That should all have been folded and put away.
Oh
And
yeah.
but you know what? That instilled something in me. He took pride,
Oh
and
yeah.
everything was ready because you never know. You could be sitting here right now, and next thing you know, both of our phones ringing. Hey guys, thanks, we got to go. And you could have two or three families that you need to go be there for and
Mhm,
serve.
mhm,
And that building needs to be ready all the time. Another
mhm.
biggest pet peeve, especially for me, is our vehicles. So if
Oh.
if the gas hand moves off of F, it
Mhm.
needs gas. That hearse better always have a full tank of gas in it. That removal vehicle, the lead car, that
Oh,
it's not, "Well, I'll just get it tomorrow." Well, what
right.
happens when, Carlton calls me, "Chris, my hearse just broke down. Can I borrow yours?"
And
And I send you my hearse, and it's only got a quarter of tank of gas in it.
exactly.
You know,
Exactly. I
you've
mean,
gotta think ahead. You've
it
got
you have to. And it's so crazy how now things have changed where
why?
apprentice sometimes and not all, because I told you I have some great ones, um, will, well, that's not my job.
Ah, you even get that you will even get that from licensed
Well, that's,
directors.
oh my.
I'm a dir
Uh,
I'm a director.
ah,
That is
uh,
not my job.
listen. So, yeah, that too. Well,
If the
but
owner scrubbed the toilet, honey, get a pair of gloves and get to scrubbing.
and let's go. So that you say that there was there was a time, and I guess I'm old school. Chris, I'm sorry, I'm old school, and but I'm grateful for the training that I
Yes.
received, and I'm still that way. And a lot they know, even from past funeral homes that I've managed, that are
Mhm.
going. They're probably happy that I'm gone. Some of them are, which is fine with me.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it. And there are some that have called me and say,
Come back.
Carlton, you were the glue because now the place is running crazy. It's running ragged. There's no structure. There's no the, and I know I can be a little, because I'm old school and I have to try to think, a little bit and say I'm dealing with a different generation, but at the same time, I'm dealing with my same standards. I'm
And
still,
that's what you and I must be cut from the same cloth. One of my thing my wife always tells me, you know, "It's not what you say, it's how you
hmm
say it."
hmm hmm
And I'm like, "Okay, okay."
yeah,
But it I have mentalities sometimes,
hmm
and so I guess, again, it may be an old school mentality or whatnot, but
hmm
if I've gotta do the job that
hmm
I'm paying someone else to do, why am
you
I
sound
paying that person?
you sound just like my preceptor. Hey, I don't need you. Once I start doing your job plus my job,
Yes.
I don't need, I mean, what is it that I need you for? And going back to what you were saying, um, we do a lot of trade. So even within Serenity, we do
Okay.
trade embalming, we do trade cremations. We have it also, and there are times where we're called to come in and assist another funeral home. There's time, and we'll go to assist. And as the funeral, we see something happening. So There was a service that we went to assist this family. I mean, a huge service. County commissioner, sister, and preachers in the family. It was a big service. Well, we went in to assist, and they called us in to assist, and we're there. And they saw me and um, my staff, and we were picking up flowers. We were doing this. They were like, their funeral attendants or ambassadors or whatever they call. They were saying, "Wait, whoa, y'all are directors. Don't do that. Just put that. We'll get that. And it's like, no, 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 no. We're in funeral service here.
Yes.
We're here to work." And even the owner, after the service was over, say, "Listen, y'all are cut from another cloth. We're not used to that." They were like, "When we came back from the cemetery, you all had already delivered the flowers. You all had already packed up. You all had." They were like, "We were looking to leave and come back and have to do this, and it's done." They were like, where did you get it?" And it's like, I mean, I don't even apologize. I'm not going to even say I'm sorry. I'm saying, listen, I'm grateful that I was able to have a great mentor who I
Mhm.
was able to serve my apprenticeship with. I was able to look up to. I was able to come by. I was able to assist. Listen, I love it. This is what I'm here to do. If I can make your life easy,
Yes.
then assure you'll make mine easy. And I hope that we can reciprocate the same type of relationship. Not all the time is it going to happen, but vast
Yes.
majority of the time, if you do one thing, if you lead by example, then your followers will come right behind you, and they will go in that example. So back to students, it's just like you said. You said your wife told you it's not what you say, it's how you say it.
Mhm.
I had a student to say, "You hurt my feelings." And I said, "How did I hurt your feelings?" "You know what? You don't understand, so I'm going to reach out to the dean."
Mhm.
Okay. And I said, "I hope that we can come to a resolution." And to this day, the dean doesn't know how I hurt the student, past it. But today at graduation rehearsal, the student standing right there in my face, and he says to me, "You know what, Professor, I owe you an apology." And I said, what is it?" He said, "I thought that you were just too tough and too hard. You weren't understanding that I had things, going on." And he said, "But when you sent me that note and you said, this seems like an isolated situation that you're not receiving what you want to hear. So now your feelings are hurt
Yes.
because you're not receiving what you." He said, "It has made me be a better." He's a licensed funeral director now and embalmer,
Mhm.
but he's graduating because he went through, got it. He said, "But it taught me to get myself together. Don't look for anybody to give me anything.
Yes.
It taught me that I got to work hard for what I want and put it." He said, "I am a better person." And he said, "I wanted to give you, you know, grief." He said, "But now I'm telling everybody, Professor May is one of the most passionate instructors. He's tough, he's strict, he has his standards, and he's not going to lower them by
Yeah.
no means."
So so I don't know. I went to the solo Gupton. I didn't go to Gupton Jones. I just went to John A. Gupton.
Okay,
That's
all
where I
right,
went to mortuary school.
yeah.
And now Dr. Allen,
Hmm.
at the time, she just Miss Tracy.
Hmm.
Um, I did the online hybrid program, and there were requirements, and she was so. If you had an assignment and it was due at 7 p.m., if it
Hmm.
was time stamped 7:01, it was not accepted. And if you had to submit a video or something, you had to be in full school dress code. You had to be prepared, and what I was like, man, why are they so adamant? Why are they so tough? Like, come on, where's a little bit of leniency and giveaway? Well, you know what? As funeral directors and morticians, families don't give us that courtesy or that leadway. We have one opportunity. We don't get to go back to them and say, I need to try and re-embalm dad, or
No.
I didn't get your death notice submitted to the paper in time. So is it okay that I run it again? I can have it ran next week, even though the service is going to be passed.
Yeah.
There's reasons and there's a methodology of why the processes are in place, because it's preparing you to be the best funeral director you can be.
Mhm. Mhm.
And not to mention, the funeral profession, you have to have tough skin,
Oh
because
gosh.
families love us, but families can be very difficult,
Well,
and they
well,
can be, they want things to be perfect. And it's our
mhm,
job to provide that perfect
mhm,
experience. And in order to
mhm,
do that, we have to be disciplined.
mhm. I can't agree with you more. You sound like you've been listening to my class lectures, Chris. But it's true to that, and I always tell my students, I said, families are not being difficult with you.
It's the
I
situation.
said, it's the situation. I
Yes.
said, and let me tell you also, I said, families are not being difficult to the point that they just said, oh, you know what? I said, they don't want to be there. They don't want
Nope.
to see you. They don't want to be sitting in that chair. They don't want to be having to pick out merchandise. They don't want to be having to make this financial decision of how am I going to fund
Mhm.
the services. They're not. I said they're going through an emotional state at this
Yes.
time. I said so. Therefore, if we go back, you went to John A. I went to Gupton. Um, if we go back to Elizabeth Kubler-Ann Ross,
Yep.
she condoned it. Denial, anger,
Dabbed.
bargaining, depression, and acceptance. But listen, that acceptance sometimes never show up.
Not anytime soon.
You'll never see it as the funeral director. Okay.
Nope.
Let me go ahead and get it. And that denial, bargaining, anger, depression, they don't all show up in that order.
No.
Okay.
Mm.
And so you may get or you may receive anger right off the bat. And if you do not have that compassion, that tough skin that you were speaking of, if you don't have that empathetic spirit to say, you know what? I mean, literally, this lady is God sent now. Okay. She's God sent, Chris. And I have to share this with you if I have time.
Oh, you're fine. We
God
got till
sent.
8.
She's sitting there, right? She's lost her husband. Husband has, the desire was for husband to go back to Arlington National Cemetery, served his country. We're sitting there. She missed 3 arrangement conferences.
Mm.
She stopped answering my phone call.
Yeah.
I reached out to her sister. Her sister said, okay, I'm going to drive into town, stop by to see her because, this. So she was stuck right there at denial. She felt like if I ignore the funeral director, if I ignore my family, if I go back, it was even
This didn't
noted that,
happen.
yeah, it didn't happen. We saw her at the grocery store. I was like, you saw her at the grocery store? Yes. But would not return my call. And so then it kept going, and she kept going back to. So that's the thing that I was telling my students, and I give the example. She left denial. She went over to bargaining a little bit. Then she went back to denial.
Yeah.
Then she went to depression. And after we received confirmation that we could go do the full service at Arlington, XYZ, she wanted to back out. Can we reschedule? I just can't make it that time. What do you? And it's like, well, you do know if we reschedule, it's going to be another 3 months.
Arlington. Yeah.
Yes. I said, no. I said, we have to we have to keep this appointment. And at that point, it's not that um I was being difficult with her. It's that you, as the funeral director, being that coach, that guided, that
You you
guiding
mean
light.
you mean you have to direct as a funeral director?
Oh, you have to direct. You have to direct
I didn't
sometimes.
sign up for that.
So you have to go, and it's like, hey, let's go.
Yeah.
This is what we're gonna do. And I had to just guide her all the way up to the day it was time to leave. I had to ensure she was on that plane.
Mm.
I mean, literally. Yeah, I had to make sure a car picked her up, got her to the airport, got her on that plane, get to when she got to hey, we drove up,
Right.
but even getting there, I had another funeral home to help assist when she got there. Make sure you all. It was almost as if she was in witness protection under
Somebody
me.
stays outside that hotel and you make sure that she's ready to go.
It was.
And then once she signs the papers at Arlington, we can all breathe.
Listen, it was almost witness protection.
Yeah.
Even the morning of the service, we had a chapel there. They had the service that her husband used to go to there. That morning, she almost was late. The car was there ready to get her there. And she kept stalling about, well, I got to do this. I got to think about it. I got to make this phone call. I have to do, it was just constant until I got.
Once you have the service, the reality of death sets in.
It starts that process.
Yep.
Right there. And so and I had to get on the phone with her. And I finally, this was the very first time I ever did this. And you may think I'm crazy, Chris. And my driver said, listen, Carlton, I don't know. I said, I could tell you. I said, put her on the phone. Give her the phone. And he said, this is Carlton. And she said, Mr. Carlton, I know what you. I said, no, listen. I said, listen. I said, I need you to listen to me at this moment. I said, you will drop everything you're doing at this moment. I said, and this costs, hey, lay it down. I'm giving you a cease and desist order at this moment.
Mm-hmm.
She understood that when I said cease and desist. She understood, like literally, I could hear her breathe and she took a sigh. I said, grab your purse. Let the gentleman walk you to the car. And I said, I will see you if traffic is well, because the hotel lodging was about 10 minutes away. I said, I will see you in 10 minutes. And we're going to walk into this service hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, who do you think you're talking to? And I said her whole entire name. And she said, okay. She handed my driver the phone back. Lo and behold, she was there. And she said, we're going to do this. She said, but you'll be hearing from me. And I said, I look forward to it. When she came back to Georgia, I guess she said, I'm going to light him up. I saw her pull up on the camera, in the video, and I was sitting there waiting. She walked in and she said, she was talking to the top of her lungs. I want to let you know. And I just walked over to her. I grabbed her and I put my arms around her. She cried in that lobby like a baby.
Mm-hmm.
Because she needed the firmness. She needed the sternness. But she also needed to feel that someone was listening, was there, heard her, that was able to just say, listen, it's okay.
Yep.
I don't know what you're going through, but as the professional, I'm here to help you, to guide you through the process.
Yep. And one of the biggest biggest things that I see is that people we're not ingraining that into baby funeral directors or baby undertakers. It's we need to get it. You sit down, get the vital statistics filled out, do this, do that. No, you need to build and develop a relationship. I tell any family that I serve, I am now becoming a part of your family until you tell me you no longer want me anymore.
Exactly.
I am here to
Exactly.
be there for you. Um, I think that's where a lot of transparency in the funeral profession needs to happen at. Now that's why me and Catherine do the platform that we do, and
Mhm.
you're seeing a lot of more funeral directors becoming more engaged in social media. And one of the biggest things we hear, and we get comments and we get messages all the time that
Mhm.
I hope the association shuts you down. And I'm like, I know ICCFA has reached out and just recently had Catherine and everybody out to, try and again to
Mhm.
grow the message. And
Mhm.
I'm like, I know NFDA, Dr. Camilla Clark.
Mhm.
She's the one that really fostered in me. Use social media,
Mhm.
embrace it, make it a platform for you. And you know, do you see, or what is your take? Can professionalism and transparency coexist?
Of course. Of course.
I think if we don't, we're going to fail.
So back to my initial point. Funeral service is no longer cookie cutter. Okay.
Yep.
When we look at the profession as a whole, we have known the profession to be this big secret.
Yep.
The profession is a secret. You don't know what happens at the funeral home. You don't get into that. You let Chris handle that. Chris handles, everyone in our family, but we don't know what goes on in the funeral home. We don't know the in and out. One of the things that one of our funeral directors do, he does something called behind the scenes.
Hmm.
Very little snippet blog. We don't do a lot, we don't do it, but he does like a little bit of blog. That's his thing. He loves it. When I tell you, I've had people reach out and say, "Oh my God, we need to sign up for an episode of Behind the Scenes. You all need to do an episode," because people, and when I say people, the general public do not see the human side of us.
Yes.
Okay, as professional, they see us as Frankenstein.
Mhm.
That
I
is
tell
the secret.
people I am not the pasty faced black suit, top hat, lurch, stereotypical funeral director.
Right.
I'm not your average funeral director.
Yeah.
If
It's those days are over. Now,
yeah,
do I have the same standards? Yes. Do I have the same
yes,
professionalism? Yes. Do I have that same sternness and strictness that I want to be discreet? Yes. But as I've stated in so many times, even on my platform to run for secretary, we as funeral professionals in this industry, we have to be evolving with current trends, current times,
hmm,
everything that's going. Because if we do not, we're going to be left behind, and someone else is going to come step right out in front
yep,
and say, "Oh, they did it. Let's do it." Transparency and professionalism, I think, walk hand in hand. It's almost like what the old show is, Love and Marriage.
yep.
Love it goes together like a horse and carriage.
Hmm.
That so if you're being transparent, I think it pushes you to be professional because if you're not transparent, let's look at some of the horror stories that came out about,
Hmm.
well, this funeral home was doing this or this funeral home was doing this. Let's look at the whole Colorado situation that we just went through.
Oh,
Okay. I mean, because let me tell you what happened. What happened? What happened is no one questioned, no one asked, no one. We don't want to be transparent. We don't want to show. And you can't tell me that even within that entire situation that it was a lot of professionalism, because when you go back and read through some of those transcripts of what was going on, that's what brought it to light. Is that someone got upset because you weren't being professional.
We just had Sean Revive on about last month.
Mhm.
He went through and did the podcast. I don't know if you had the opportunity to listen to it, Noble, about Tri-State Crematory.
Yes.
And we sit down and we talk to him. And again, everybody's like, we need to stop talking about this. We need to stop talking. You know what? It's still happening.
It is still happening. And if we become more transparent,
people know what to look for.
What are we doing to the community when we're being transparent? We're
educating
them. We're educating them. And that's what it takes, is the education. It's not about, when I decided to run for the board of NFDA, right? When I'm at large right now, when I decided to run, one of the things took me back was my earlier days when Mr. Meadows, he introduced me to NFDA and said, hey, they're seeing the board of directors walk into the convention hall. It was almost like an entourage. You don't talk to them. You don't touch them. You could not approach them.
Yeah.
Okay. A little bit. I mean, I might have been young, maybe I was young, 20-year-old, 20s going, but I said, oh, one day I want to become a leader that I'm approachable. I want to hug babies. I want to shake hands. I want to get in the trenches with them. What is it that you're seeing? What is it that you would like to see? I don't need a Secret Service. I want to be out there that I'm able. I mean, I literally have gone into some of the NFDA events or after events that are going on. And I have had people tell, we've never seen a board member here, but we're glad that you're here. Thank you. Come on in. And it's like, okay, listen, I have to come here in order to be transparent that I'm here for you, that I'm working in this association for you, that I'm here. It's not about, oh, well, because I've held this position or I've had this, I mean, come on, back in the day when you heard of conversations talking, the main conversation would come out and say, well, how many rooftops do you have?
How many calls did you do?
How many calls did you do? Okay. It's not about that, because leadership is not defined by how many rooftops you have. Leadership is not defined by how many calls you do a year. Leadership is not defined about where you've been. Leadership really is about, number one, I'm going to go back to it again, service. Okay. And then leadership is not just about service, about where you taking your service and what are you doing to continue to evolve with your service. So if you're sitting back and you're not being educated and you're saying, oh no, we're not doing this. No, I'm not doing that. Nope, I don't. You're not sitting in these classes to gain the knowledge that you need. Oh my goodness. It's just like when NOR came out. Georgia. Georgia was, past it. I jumped on the ball right then. And I was like, hey, we need to reach out to the experts of this so that way we can be educated on it. I brought in an expert. I said, hey, we want to know. We hosted it at Gupton Jones. We packed out one of our rooms that is conjoined into two rooms. We packed the whole room out. I know we had over 100 funeral directors, and they were just not from Georgia. I had Alabama. I had someone drive down from Tennessee. Said, hey, South Carolina. We were in the room. Florida. Forgot about Florida. We had Florida drive up because they were like, we want to know. And once we received the knowledge, once we receive the understanding, once we receive the guidance, walking out of the room, everyone said, Carlton, thank you. Thank you for having, thank you for jumping on board to have this. So now I know once a family walk into my firm and say, I want to talk about the option, they may not even want the option, but they may want to talk about it. You, as the professional of funeral service, you're able to walk that family through. Well, listen, this is how the process takes place.
Mm-hmm.
This is what's going on. This is how we're going to do it. And if you would like, I'm going to walk you through that process through my trusted, partner or my trusted vendor, if you have one, of natural organic reduction. I'm going to go through it, with it. And this is what we have. Hey, what are you doing? You're being transparent.
Yep.
What are
You're
you
the
doing?
professional. You're educating, and the ones that sit there and say, well, we just don't offer that. Or it's not legal in my state. It may not be legal in your state, but guess what? It's legal in another state. And if that's what you want done, we can make the proper arrangements to have your loved one transfer. We can partner with that organization and natural organic reduction can happen. Alkaline hydrolysis.
Oh, yeah.
Green burial. People don't want to become educated in green burial because guess what? That's not what we do. That's not this. That's not it. Guess what? Green burial is where it all started.
Exactly.
We're just coming back full circle. And, some Orthodox Jewish cultures, green burial, no embalming, plain pine box. It's there. But you've got to want to learn, to be educated, to be able to educate the families that they're coming to you. That they may plan a funeral if they're lucky once in their life. We do it multiple times a day.
Multiple times throughout so that's what we should be speaking about. We should be speaking. How many calls you do a year? It should be going around. Listen, I am servicing families of different, backgrounds that are wanting different options for disposition. I'm servicing. So out of my 100 calls, I may have had 20 that wanted, like you said, alkaline hydrolysis. Out of that, I may have had that wanted cremation or service with cremation. Excuse me. I may want all of these different. Let's talk about how we get. Well, how do you do that, Carlton? Well, how do you? That's what I feel like the industry should adapt to and go to and say, this is what I want. This is how I want to grow my business. There are so many study groups, focus groups out there now that are coming around. Those focus groups are focusing on how to maximize on my what? On my business. They may not be coming to social media, but they coming together in a room. So if social media is your thing to be transparent, to know how to grow your business, then do that. But if it's more, hey, let's go to a focus group and we're going to come together face to face, do that as well. However,
but you got to leave the funeral home. You got to step outside your comfort zone. You may have to. God forbid, I'm going to be blasphemous here. You may have to join an association.
Yes.
You may have to trust somebody else, and you may have to believe and have that mindset and step outside of the mindset of we've always done it this way.
We always do.
Have we not learned our lesson from the race to the bottom with cremation? Oh yeah.
It is still a stinger, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it is, because you know what, we constantly said, well, if you just want a direct cremation, I don't have time for it. Just go ahead and call, whether it be a direct disposer or a cremation society or whatnot. But now what are we trying to recover? We're trying to pick up the pieces and that were broken by the ones that came before us, so that we can show the value, the purpose, and the benefit of the funeral rites and rituals.
Exactly.
Because it's not just about, well, what do we do with our deceased loved one?
Mhm.
That's only a small fraction of it. It's
Mhm.
how do we honor them? And newsflash, the funeral is not for the deceased.
No,
The
no,
funeral is for the ones left behind.
left
There's
behind.
something powerful about communal mourning
Mhm.
and a support network.
Mhm.
That's what the funeral service is about. But then
Mhm.
but we're the vultures, we're the bad guys.
Mhm.
Because you have to you do not need to use me for a memorial service. There's nothing. But if you have a direct cremation, please do something together to honor that person or
Mhm.
for you to be able to receive that support from the community.
Exactly. And that goes back to one of my older preceptors that would always say, "You don't know what you don't know."
Amen.
So I used to hate when he said it. Now that I'm older, I get it. I
Hmm.
understand it.
Well, what's that old saying? Had I know then what I know
What I
now.
know now.
Yep.
Yes. It's like that those older sayings were befitting. We did not understand them by far. Okay.
Yep.
We did not. But now I'm using them on my students.
Mhm.
I'm telling my students some of the same things that I have heard.
Are you saying we're the old guys now?
Yeah, we're the older guys. I mean, that's what
I
I'm
mean,
saying.
I can
This-
prove it. It's
Well,
right here. It's gone.
well, listen. I listen. Listen. It's not coming back. Okay,
Mhm.
I'll
It's
tell you
gone.
that it's gone. But you know, time evolves. Where one time I was that little young, eager funeral director. I had to be on this funeral, that funeral. I had to, I wanted to be at the funeral home all day, every day. I
Yeah.
wanted to run around. But guess what? Now I'm training and I'm developing others where I don't have to be there.
Yep.
I can step away. I can go service in the associations that I love to serve. My local associations, my national association. I'm able to step away to not only bring knowledge that I'm learning in my local area, but knowledge that I'm touching bases like with you. Like you said, you and I met at Meet the Mentors.
Yep. 2025.
You know, we met. Never in a day would I have thought, okay, Chris is gonna be um inviting me to a show that he has. How many followers do you have, Chris?
We're at almost 30,000 now on As the Hearse Turns.
So 30,000 followers.
Now,
There are,
Catherine on the funeral home has over 140,000.
yes, I mean, the partnership going side by side with both of you guys. Love you dearly, both of you all. It's like I don't feel that, hey, on a regular average day that someone, of your capacity will say, hey, Carlton, come on and be on my show. But I don't see it that way. Because from
Yeah.
the moment that you and I met, it kicked off. It was like, hey, brother, anything
Hey.
I can do for you, anything I can do. Hey, I'm honored, but I'm more humble because of your approach to what you do. This is your thing. You do a great job. You do
And
an awesome job at
and
it.
I mean, I'll never forget it. Yeah, you liked my sport jacket that I was wearing. You were
Oh
like, "I like
yeah.
your sport
Oh
jacket." And that's how we
yeah.
started talking because I was talking to, Steve Spann, President Spann,
Yeah.
talking to him, and you came over and we started talking, and you know what? One of the things and when you were talking about the upper like the old school mentality of
Mhm,
NFDA,
mhm,
untouchable type of thing,
mhm,
I was it was a complete 180, the respect I have now for the National Association after being able to take part of the Meet the Mentors program and being a part of, NFDA advocacy up on Capitol Hill that week as well.
mhm, mhm.
And Leslie, I mean, she's a little fireball. She was a blast.
Oh yeah. Love Les.
And, you know, no matter anybody I walked past, anybody in the hotel or
Mhm.
during any of the breakout sessions like because one of the things I thought was really neat is that whenever we did a break in our sessions and that if we were eating, having lunch or whatever, the
Mhm.
board actually you guys were eating with us.
Mhm.
And we were
Mhm.
sitting there and we were having
Mhm.
conversations with, Christine or,
Mhm.
anybody.
Mhm.
And it was approachable.
Mhm.
And the association is there to
Mhm.
help. Now,
Mhm.
can the association fix everything that is wrong in the world today or in the funeral
No,
service profession?
no,
Absolutely not.
no.
But step by step, little by little, you make a difference to improve.
And that is so true because the association is changing. And I'm so happy to be a part of an association that is changing with time. Because now, granted, sitting on the board,
Mhm.
I've heard the stories of we made a mistake then and we did not take the lead as an association to help educate our members to trust us. Well, we want to be the trusted association in funeral service. So now it's almost as a 110,000% focus on what's going on. What are we going to do to be the expert? What are we going to do to gain the knowledge? What are we going to do? And I'm so glad to be a part of that, sitting in those board meetings, making those decisions for anyone who wants to be a part of NFDA to say, listen, this is what we're doing to to receive the knowledge so we can share the knowledge with you.
And that's key. And but one of the things that if you're an NFTA member, you now have it's not that you have to constantly come to convention or come to this
No.
conference or monthly. There are the webinars that guess
Okay.
what? Free CEUs, folks. If you're a licensee and you're a member of NFTA, free CEUs,
Right.
free FREE. Everyone
Right.
loves something for free
Included in your
and
membership.
membership. The great benefits I can just think of right off the top of my head is like if I've got a question and it's something legal and we don't want to pay our attorney whatever his hourly rate is to pick up the phone, you can pick up the phone and guess what? You're getting a call back from Chris Farmer.
Exactly.
He
And
may not be able to tell you exactly, but he can give
right.
you a
But
baseline of how to
he
protect yourself.
he is knowledgeable and also the legal forms you have
Oh, that's
access
that's
to.
that's worth its weight in gold. All you got to
Okay.
do is change the letterhead.
Oh, listen, just put your letterhead on it. I mean, literally, I think 2 days ago, I had a non-member contact me um, with their attorney on the phone, and I say, "Hey, listen, I can't give any legal advice. Let me go ahead and
Right.
read my disclosure right to you. I can't provide any legal advice, but maybe I can answer your question. And if I can't answer, bam."
Mhm.
Well, the non-member with their lawyer, well, what do you do in the case? The question was, what do you do in the situation that you have a person that you're trying to cremate, and they're saying, I'm the legal next to kin, and there's no other relative. Very simple for me because I have that verbiage and I have that legal form in my forms document
Mhm.
that I can have signed that is legally prepared by our legal counsel and is uploaded to the forms in NFDA. I was able to pull it. Hey, you can put your letterhead. You have this person sign. It takes away liability from you. We go from there.
Mhm.
But once again, from that conversation alone, the non-member said, "How did you wait a minute? How did you receive that so fast? And what did you do?" I said, "Well, by being a member of NFDA, had to go in with the tagline.
Yeah.
I have access to these forms. I have access to this, and she said, "Okay, how do I join?" Because that was a value.
Absolutely.
That was a value. I'll go back to like I said, Dr. Mack, my business partner. Same thing with him. He had a situation one time. He called, he was at one location, I'm at the other. He called, he said, "Hey, listen, I need to do this. How do you do this?" And how do you, and I said, well, listen, let me go to the form. And he said, are you talking? He said, your forms? I said, yes. I said, my forms, and,
Yep.
went in and he's like, you know what? I'm done. I'm joining off of the value, right? I see the value, and that's what we have to do as an association, rather than going back to what I stated before, just because someone's, say, oh, this is why. What value are you bringing to the association to keep the association evolving? What value are you bringing to the association of expertise to say, hey, this is what I'm going to, because I'm going to continue to ensure that all the information that is out there is relevant, accurate, and I'm bringing it back to the association so we can vet it and share it with our members.
Right. So let me ask you this. Where do you see so we when prior to us going live, we were talking a little bit, and you said the association is changing.
Oh, yeah.
Where do you see it is because one membership can, and I don't know, and I probably should look and I probably should know,
Mhm,
but can just an individual licensee be
mhm.
a member of NFDA, or does this have to be through an
Firm, no.
establishment?
It doesn't have to be a firm membership. You can be an individual.
Okay.
And I don't know the data of how many
Yeah.
licensee versus the firm, but yes, there are a lot of licensing because we do student memberships as well.
Yeah, I was
Through
a student
all,
member when I
yeah,
was at John A.
throughout the colleges and so forth. So being a student member, all the colleges are a member. So they're individuals. They fall into that individual as well, student license, individual member underneath. And those individuals are those individuals that I found to be hungry. And
Mhm.
when I say hungry, that means that their firm that they work for do not support NFDA or any association or see the value of joining. No, I'm not paying that membership. No, I'm not. But that individual member that works there is like, oh, I see the value and I want to learn and I want to. And mind you, a lot of those individual members are taking information back to the firm, to that same firm that's saying, I don't see the value.
So right now, so I'm
Mhm,
looking up. So for 2026, if
mhm,
you are, and again, we have a lot of just licensees that follow us and
mhm, mhm,
comment and things like that. So if your firm wants to join,
mhm.
it's your dues are based off of your case volume.
Yes.
It's not based upon, how many rooftops or anything like that.
No.
So a firm to join,
Mhm,
you're looking for the year, it's
mhm.
$533. But the resources you get for that $533 far outweigh that cost.
It's outreach and the efforts and the work that we put into. I I had researched the board as being a member, prior to joining, but
So
did
I can become a lifetime member for $888? Oh, I'm not 65 yet. Okay,
Chris,
never
I
mind.
was just about to say, Chris, come wheel it back, wheel it back. There's an age limit on there.
I'm just like, I just got excited real fast. I saw the little asterisk.
There's an age limit on there. But when you look at how you break down the amount of resources that is provided to you
Yes.
and the work that's put in. Like I said, I looked and researched the board, and I'm gonna be honest. Um, I was like, okay, and I've served on boards before, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is the. But jumping in head first and really understanding, if you have not been a part of NFDA board, you really don't know how much work is entail to it. It is a
Well,
lot of work.
so talking to, and that's one of the things, like talking to Jack Mitchell,
Yeah, yeah.
and President Span, and now talking to you.
Mhm,
I even asked Jack, I said, Jack, how do you run your funeral home?
mhm.
and because especially once you become an officer,
Right.
you guys are constantly going somewhere.
Right.
Like
Exactly.
he's like, you've got to be prepared to travel
Mhm.
probably a good third of the year
Mhm.
because I mean it's mostly through the summer because of all the different conventions,
Mhm.
and then you're constantly traveling to plan the national convention.
Mhm.
And then you've got, leadership conference, you've got advocacy, you've got this, that, and all like that. I
Mhm.
mean, these are not paid positions, correct? Like you
No,
get paid for like a per diem or for
correct.
travel or something
Correct.
like
These are
that at
not
a
paid.
certain
Yeah.
level, but
Correct.
you're not getting a six-figure salary to
Oh
be
no.
the at-large representative. It is
No.
a labor of love.
Yes. Yes. A lot of love.
And patience, I can only imagine.
And patient. But let me tell you, the people that support, like you, Chris, being honest, like you, the love that you guys share, and do you not know how much it really means when we talk or in passing and we see each other, and you just say, Carlton, thank you for everything you do. Thank
Yeah,
you. That means a lot. That should You're seeing the worth. You're seeing the duty. Um, I've been on the board 2 years, and I think to the one up above that I have been surrounded with phenomenal team. My team, I have to give a shout out to them.
absolutely.
Dr. Kendrick Mack, super supportive any way that he can do, any way that he can assist. He said, "Hey, bro, you let me know what we can do, what I can do." Monica Hall, she's oh my God, phenomenal. Very much of a critiquer when it comes down. Ike Holcomb, I mean, he's a licensed funeral director in the state of Tennessee. So if we ever, he's not licensed in Georgia. He's a licensed apprentice in Georgia due to the different, license criteria. But he has given us resources for Tennessee when we need. But I mean, retired military, each one of us bring a different background.
And that's
Um,
probably what
well,
makes you guys even stronger.
yeah, I mean, background, Dr. Mack is a pastor, in the local community. He's a pastor. He once taught as well, but he had to come out of teaching. Different Monica, she serves as a education director for the state of Georgia, Department of Human Services. Ike is a retired military. He's retired military Navy. Currently now back, helping out in the school systems with teaching JROTC because they need male, teachers and assistants. Like I stated to you, I talked about our support staff and our ambassador, Miss Brenda, Mr. Whip. I could go on Miss Whitley. Oh my gosh. I mean, all of Miss Katie. My goodness. I mean, just going down the
It
line.
takes what do they say that it uh takes a mountain, it takes a island, whatever it is.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's not just and that's why I said for you to be able to travel and do what to support the profession and continue to grow the profession,
Mhm.
to have those folks that are there, that's key. And that's
Mhm.
what I think a lot of owners need to start realizing. And it takes a lot to be
It takes
able
a lot.
to take the reins,
Mhm.
and I'm not saying you gotta give them up,
No.
but to loosen them a little bit so that you gotta let your staff grow and
Mhm.
develop, and
Mm.
guess what? There's gonna be times where they're gonna fall,
Oh yes.
but you gotta build them back up, and guess what? It'll never happen again.
Mhm.
Like, what did she say? "Miss Whitley, where is my document?" And I bet you it never happened again, you
Never
know?
happened again. Yeah.
And that is key to growth, that is key to mentorship, but
Mhm.
you've gotta have folks that have the drive
Mhm.
and the motivation or the wherewithal to want that, because a lot of
Mhm.
people are just complacent, and
Mhm.
they're not complacent's a bad word. There are a lot of people who are just happy and content with where they are.
Mhm.
And if that's all they want, they just want to be a funeral director, then more power to them. They found what
Mhm.
makes them happy, and that's that.
Mhm.
But if
Mhm.
you want more, you've got to demonstrate that want
Mhm.
or that initiative
Mhm.
for that next step.
Mhm. Even within the school, I talked a lot about it, but even within the school system, uh, our dean of academics, she has her strong points.
Hmm.
Okay, she has her strong points. She has her, and then as an instructor and a clinician, I have my strong points. And we have our weaknesses, and we all work around it. Our other professionals, and I go, but when we all come together, everybody work together off of everyone. We build off of what is her weakness and what's my strong point, vice versa.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we can't, because I'm not a specialty at what she does. She's not a specialty at what I do, in the job that I perform. But one of the things that I do like is that we all do not look at it as we're stepping on each other's toes.
You
We
can't try to compete with one another.
we don't compete. It's
It's
not a
building one
competition.
another up and working off of one another.
It's work. Listen, it's working off of each other, and you cannot tell me at the end of the day when we sit back and it's like, whew, take the sweat off. We have accomplished the goal of continuing to evolve together.
And then you do it all over again tomorrow.
Do it all over again tomorrow. Start all over. Hey, let's get it. Let's do what we have to do. And
So
that's what I love.
so with NFTA, for
Mhm.
those folks here that are licensed, that are members or members by association. So
Mhm.
if you are not an individual member, but your
Mhm.
firm that you work for is a member,
Mhm.
they would want to reach out to what is her name, the member services lady for NFDA.
Oh, you're talking about Anna.
Yes,
Mhm.
and make sure you have your login credentials,
Mhm.
because what do we are we we're a month tomorrow from the voting period beginning,
Yes.
correct? The
Yeah.
15th.
So no, voting actually not even a month. We're less than a month. So voting starts June 11th.
Okay, so we're less than a
Mhm.
month, but
Mhm.
they have to have their login credentials to be
Mhm.
able to go in and have access to the ballot, because it's not just going to be emailed, right? You have to actually go in and log in.
So no, so you'll be emailed a unique ID
Okay,
from with to vote, and once you do that, you'll be able to go from that link straight into, because it's through a third party company.
right.
We don't manage it. They will collect all of the data,
Okay,
and then report it back. And voting stops on the 24th of June. So yes, there was an email went out. I want to say that
I think I saw it
tomorrow.
a couple times.
Yeah, I think tomorrow, the 15th, I think you had to make sure all your email and everything was updated,
Accurate.
accurate. So therefore, when it comes time to voting, you receive it. And if you did not have it updated, unfortunately, you're going to miss the voting, um, or be able to participate in the voting. And I hope that everyone took advantage of that, um, to be able to vote and be able to cast your vote, to be able to have a voice in the association in which you love, and to have a voice in the association which you cherish. Because this is not my association, this is our association. This is not just about me, um, gaining a position as secretary. This is about me. This is about we. We are gaining, because one of the things that, like I say, I do, I listen at the members. I listen to you. What is it that you will like? Making sure that I'm advocating for you, like you stated. When you're in Meet the Mentors, we went to Capitol Hill to
Yeah.
advocate. Then we're seeing results from it, where we show up in numbers, because not everybody can go to advocacy. Uh, but those members that share with me, hey, I want you to make sure that we focus on this opportunity, because this is affecting me in my area.
Yeah. And let me tell you something, folks. If you are a mortuary science student, if you're a first year licensee, I cannot preach from the highest mountain, from the biggest soapbox, from the largest pulpit,
Mhm,
how important it is if you have the opportunity to, as soon as you see the opportunity open to
mhm.
apply for the Meet the Mentors scholarship.
Scholarship, yes.
So you had to pay for your travel to get there,
Mhm,
but your room and board at the hotel, and it was a heck of a nice hotel.
mhm.
Um, we dinner then for 2 nights. So like for us, we had dinner the first night at Joseph Gullers and Sons,
Oh,
and then
yeah.
the second night, we got a credit card to go out on the town with. But that's all taken care of, and then your fees for the NFDA advocacy program is also
Mhm,
included. But
mm,
you get 2 days of just excellent one-on-one opportunities with these amazing mentors that NFDA lines up. I'll never so I had Lori, I had Dr. Clark, I had
mhm,
Tim Schramm, and it was just that was such an impactful day. And
mhm,
then that evening was amazing, and just the bonds I made with the other folks that were part of that class from all over the country, we're still in touch, whether it be through text messages or social media. And
mhm,
it's just, again, we've made extended family members,
mhm,
you
mhm.
know.
Same
Um,
thing with the emerging leaders. They come to leadership, uh, and they graduate at leadership. We have a class coming up. Matter of fact, our funeral director Monica will be graduating in Louisville, Kentucky.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that's the next one I'm gonna have to drive for is the emerging leader program. That I'm looking forward to that. I've heard some great
yeah,
things. And then another Caitlin Tawatia.
yeah.
We've had her on the program here,
Mhm,
and we're again now we're really good friends. She's
mhm,
friends with Catherine and
mhm.
Michelle and
Wonderful person.
Tom and everything like that.
Mhm.
So now I did just check. You can go in because it's May 14th is the cutoff to
Okay.
verify your profile information. So the
So it was
cutoff is
today.
today,
Okay, yeah, I knew it was around this time.
but
Yeah,
you can log in to your NFDA profile and just make sure
make
everything's up to
sure.
date to
Mhm.
make sure you'll get that information. Because I think you do have someone
Yes,
running against you
yes, yes,
for secretary.
yes.
Um, I don't think are you the only one that has somebody running against them?
Yes, so secretary, I'm the only one. Everybody else is, running
Unopposed,
unopposed.
unopposed. Go figure.
Yes, they're
Um,
running
and then I
unopposed.
will plug, my Meet the Mentors classmate is running
Yeah.
for at-large representative Shelby.
Sure is. Yes, she sure
So
is.
make sure everybody gives Shelby a good vote. She's over there in
Pittsburgh, yes.
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Mm.
Um, and then, so what do you see? So we got about 50, roughly about 14 minutes here.
Mhm.
Where do you see the profession within the next 5 to 10 years?
So, I see the profession, like I stated earlier, the disposition options have increased within the last 5 years, okay? What is gonna happen is history repeats itself, like you stated, natural NOR came about due to natural green burials,
Yep.
okay? You're gonna see the history continuing to repeat itself, but on a larger scale of evolving into a modern scale.
Hmm.
And so now, even with the work that you're performing, the work that you're doing, I mean, everyone has their own niche and platform, but they're being educated. And they're being educated to the point where it's almost like church. And this is how I can give the um, scenario here. Okay. So let's think about it. In the South, the pastor was the one that came to the church. He was the one that could read, He was the one that could write, he could educate, and the congregation listen. Okay.
Okay.
Now, pastors can't just get up to the pulpit and say anything and it's trusted. Now it's trusted and it's verified.
Okay. That's okay.
Okay. So the profession is changing to the point now, if you're going to be the professional, the times are changing where the consumer is doing research before they even walk into your door. So the profession is going to also be challenged that you're the if you say you are the professional,
You should know.
then you should know. If you're saying that you're the one that hold the license sitting at that firm, then you should, just like the young lady I shared with you about, she knew the law that we needed another state funeral director. Unbeknownst to her, she didn't know that I was licensed in Alabama.
Right.
She had done her research. So I could not just come in and say anything to her. And she said, I believe. I would have lost her trust if I would have just given her anything. I would have lost credibility.
You never know who you're sitting across from.
You never know. So the industry is changing in those ways. We're going to have to maintain our credibility. Okay. We're going to have to maintain our transparency. Going back, however it is, we're going to have to maintain our professionalism because it's changing. What looked professional 10 years ago is a different way it is today.
Yes. Yep.
It is a different. So that's where I see this profession going. And if we're going to maintain an antiquated way of thinking, an antiquated way of delivering messages, then we're going to be lost in 5 years for those that were not ready to adapt those changes. And I have to go a little step further.
Please.
And the step further that I see within the next 5 years, is that the curriculum of mortuary education
praise Jesus,
is going to be changing because it's
outdated. It's very outdated.
So we have to continue. I see that that's changing, and I see that that's going because there are different curriculums that are in the work now that looked at to be reviewed. Because as you stated, the most effective and the most successful apprentice is that apprentice that went into the field and got under some good wings.
Yep. Amen.
Of a professional that is willing to evolve, a professional that's willing to stay transparent, a professional that's serving with purpose, that they could see their leadership being in purpose. Because if not, they get the burnout because they just see it done the same way. Just do it. Excuse me. They saw their path, and their path was smooth. Now, there's going to be some hills. I'm not going to go to church, but there's going to be some valleys. There's going to be some highs. There are going to be some lows. There are going to be some times that you want to say, what in the world? But at the end of the day, when you have that gratitude that I have done something to help someone along the way, as my motto, then my living is not in vain. I've done my part. I've done my service. And that's how I see the industry. That's how I see the profession. That's how I see this association. If I have done something small in the association to say Carlton was a part of that to help, then I know that I'm serving.
So you ran the race.
I've ran my race. And as my grandfather said, that dog will hunt every time.
That's right. Now, does NFDA do anything with the not the international conference, but the oh my word, there's so many acronyms. Not the International Conference of Funeral Service Examining Board, because that's going to be for the national board. but for the
ABFSC.
yes, the American
Oh,
Board of Funeral
yeah.
Service Education for the curriculum.
So we do. So we have liaisons. So I am actually the liaison for the conference.
Okay.
And I attend their meetings, their discussion boards. I'm a part of their webinars, their
Yeah, I
conferences.
did the item writing workshop with them.
Yeah.
So that was a good experience.
Yeah, so I'm a part of that. We also have a liaison to the ABFSC. The liaison attend all of their meetings, bring back ideas, and we share. We also get together at leadership, where we have a roundtable with ABFSC, and we have a roundtable with the conference. And we talk about those trends, trendings, different things that are happening throughout the association and on their side, with the students that we're seeing coming in. Great experience. I'm glad President Chris Robinson actually appointed me as the liaison under his presidency.
I like Chris. Chris is a good guy.
Yeah. Chris Robinson appointed me, and I'm honored to have served in that capacity.
So I'm going to put you on the spot.
Uh-oh. Look, you waited till the last 2 minutes to put me on the spot.
We got the last 4 minutes. So as the liaison from the international conference, what is your take on the national board exam? Do you feel that it is truly an entry level? Because I know by writing the some of the questions and things like that it is truly just an entry level gauge that someone has the minimal requirements to practice mortuary science. But is there true value in that when then you have to because the national board exam is, you don't get a national license. We then have to turn around to practice independently in our states.
In the state.
So is it just a money grab, or is there value?
So,
and you don't have to answer if you don't want to.
And I'm gonna answer it in a way that's going to stick with you this way, and this is my take on it. One of my perspective, I can't share with you all of my perspectives. Okay,
right? No, understood.
But I'm gonna share with you one of my perspectives of the national board. What is the value if you have nothing to work towards?
Well, wouldn't you have to work toward your state exam?
You would. In the state that you're going
to practice in.
You're going to practice it. Right. So the point that I'm making with that perspective, because I have different perspectives now on this, but I only want to stick with this one for the sake. You're not going to receive a national board
national license.
National license. You're only going to receive that state in which you practice in which your state in. And that's why states are getting away from requiring a national board. Okay.
Do you think schools are going to continue? So does Gupton Jones require that you pass the national board to graduate, or at least sit for the exam to graduate?
No. So that's not a requirement. Now that used to be a requirement years out. There are some older students that would say before we could graduate, you had to take the national board.
Same with John A. Gupton.
You have to sit. You have to sit for it. So that's not. So that goes back to my same perspective again.
Right.
What is the value if you have nothing to work for? I think that's probably a value of John A. Gupton, that that I have to work extra hard to put that dedication in there, because I know I'm going to have to take this national board exam in order to graduate, in order to have that eligibility to graduate, to come out of school. Regardless, I'm not receiving a national. It's almost it's almost like a bar exam in a way. When you take the bar exam, do you receive a national?
No. You still have to sit for state
bar. You have to sit for your state. Yes, you have to sit for your state. So it's back to that point. You work hard to be able to have that knowledge, because let's be real, we don't want to get to the point where, hey, you can just sit for an apprenticeship and take your state exam and you're a licensed funeral director.
Well, we don't want to devalue the
Yeah, we don't
profession.
want to
You know what I
devalue
mean?
it at all.
It's
So,
I see that there are so many great people
mhm,
that would I and and by writing for the exam
mhm.
and stuff like that, people are always like there are trick questions. Like there's no such thing as a trick question on exam. There's
It's
not.
critical thinking.
It is, and one of my biggest things is where they're like we have to simplify it. I don't know if we can simplify it anymore. You can now use a calculator. I remember when I sat, you couldn't use a calculator,
Hmm. Hmm.
and
I had a scratch sheet of paper when I took it.
it was a laminated sheet of scrap paper
Yep.
that had a permanent marker,
Yep, and
and you
they
couldn't
wiped
erase.
it off
Yep,
for you. They erased it.
yep.
So, I mean, like I said, that is a very impactful question, Chris. I'm gonna
Mhm.
be honest with you, but I will only just stick to that one perspective because I have several
And you
now.
know what? Everybody's entitled to their own opinion.
Yes,
Absolutely, hands down.
yes,
But
but with that, I will say, let's not dumb down the profession.
no.
Let's not get it. But even with that, let's go back to another. I'm gonna be devil's advocate.
Mhm.
If we are going to change with the time, and if we are going to have the curriculum that it's going to have to change with the times, then we're going to need to change the national board with the times as well.
Oh yeah, I mean, and I will say this. I do appreciate the conference that I was lucky enough that one I was able to complete all my requirements for school
Mhm,
within 18 months.
mhm,
I passed my arts and my sciences the first
mhm,
time out.
mhm.
Praise Jesus.
Praise Lord.
Yeah, right. And I was very lucky. And
Mhm,
again, I had a path. I am a horrible student with everything else. But
mhm,
funeral service, I love. And I just absorbed it and I
mhm,
eat, I breathe, I sleep funeral service.
mhm,
I love it. And
mhm,
I think, you know, I don't know if it's just people are scared of the exam and there's comprehensive reviews and things like that. And I think there's so many people that just need to understand that it is just an entry level exam. It's not all encompassing of
mhm,
the profession.
mhm,
You need to be able to demonstrate you have the core competencies. And I
mhm,
think if that is taught and explained better,
mhm,
maybe the pass rate would change. But
mhm,
the other thing is I love John A. Gupton for the fact that
mhm,
once you passed comprehensive review, which was the
mhm.
review of the whole syllabus,
Program. Mhm,
that you had to sit for arts and sciences within 30 days.
mhm,
If you did not sit, you failed comprehensive review and had to retake the class.
mm,
Now, if you sit for the exams and you failed the exams,
mhm,
you still passed comprehensive review. You were still
mhm.
able to graduate.
You still got that, yeah.
But and you know what? That right there was phenomenal
Mhm,
because I see so many people that once they graduate or matriculate out of school that wait, all right, I need to take a couple weeks
then
and then
take a
that goes
break.
into a
Yes.
month. And
Yes.
that information, all that data from the last 18, 24 months, whatever, is slowly
Seeping out.
seeping out. So
Seeping
just
out.
sit for the daggone test.
Yes. Well, like you said, Chris, school at the end of the day and education help us to serve with purpose.
Absolutely. So what I'm going to say to this, guys, is Carlton, thank you so much for taking time tonight. It was a pleasure to sit down, a breath of fresh air, and it was great to catch up. Like I said, last time we
Oh,
saw each other was in March of 2025
yes.
down in the good old Washington, D.C.
Oh, yeah.
So hopefully we will be able to cross paths again. Heck,
Oh, yeah.
maybe you get me. I'll come down there and I'll talk to your students down there in Georgia, man.
Listen, they need to hear you because you're singing. I think they'll hear it from a different person. That they're not saying, "Hey, you're just shooting it to us." They can hear from fresh air.
Mhm, absolutely. But make sure next month when voting opens, if you are eligible to vote, as an NFDA member that you, one, are exercising your voice to vote for your leadership? And the answer is clear. Vote for Carlton. Let's make it happen. And then, because secretary, then what, vice president, then president? Is that the game plan here?
So secretary, then treasurer, then president-elect.
Okay.
And then
So technically you're looking at what, 5 more years?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Because are they 1-year terms?
Yes. So now after at large it's 2 years, and then after at large, secretary, treasurer. So they're all 1 year.
1 year
terms.
Okay.
And if I could, I'd just like to thank everyone for tuning in, thanking everyone that's going to come back and listen later. And of course, to you, Chris, your team, everything that you all do. Oh my God. Thank you for the invitation. I love watching you, love seeing you, even the early morning coffee. I don't drink coffee. I drink hot tea, but I don't.
Yeah, morning coffee conversations.
Yeah. And for anyone that wants to learn and know a little bit about me,
absolutely,
my priorities and my website is Carlton May for NFDA. It's just what it is. My Facebook is Carlton for NFDA. I'm there. And if there's any way I can answer any questions, hey, email me. Everything is there on my website. I'm all on social media. I'm not big on social media like Chris is, but hey, I am there. And I want to thank As the Hearse Turns for having me. I mean, very humble and thankful for this opportunity. And I'm looking to continue to serve with purpose. So that way, the next step, I can just continue to lead with purpose for time to come, and be able to advocate in this association for its members, and to help foster and help the next leaders to come on in and walk heavy, and to be able to change and evolve with the times. So I just say thank you.
Again, thank you for being here. And guys, for a lot of folks that follow As the Hearse Turns that are interested in, we've got a lot of folks that are debating on getting into mortuary science, starting their journey. Definitely take a look at Pierce colleges, Gupton Jones colleges, one in Georgia, and there are 2 more.
Yes, that's right. Ogeechee Tech, and Columbus Tech, and we have another program, actually, I think West Georgia.
Okay.
Now, more recent that's coming about. So, hey, the programs are continuing to grow. The programs are continuing to grow, and with that growth, that means that there is a demand, and of course, there's a demand, but there's a demand for those that really want to serve and see themselves as a servant.
Yes.
Yeah, to see themselves as a servant. It's not just about another job. It's not about the fancy cars and all this stuff. It's about being a servant.
And let me add to that, folks. This is not a career. This is a lifestyle.
Oh, wow. Yes. You couldn't have said it better. Yeah.
So, okay, Carlton, hang tight 1 second.
Okay.
Everybody else, we will see you again soon. We will see you in June for our next live, but there will probably be some more pop-ups with me and Catherine, because we've got some fun topics we're looking to discuss with the public. But we have Ruth Ann Distel with us in June. So it'll be really good to sit down with her. And then in July, we have the one and only Mr. Ryan Thogmartin from Disrupt Media going to be joining us. Wow. So again, have a wonderful evening, and thanks for tuning in. Push the button here.